Hi guys, and today I've got an absolute legend of the 1980s. This is the Audi Quattro, or the Audi ur-Quattro as it's known now. That's a small U and R before Quattro, hyphenated. Why do they do that? Ur in German means original, or another word is primordial, which conjures up images of powerful ancient creatures, which kind of fits with a car like this, particularly when you put it into the context of the WRC. More on that in a minute. Now, they had to differentiate it because the term quattro, which means four in Italian, basically denoted the fact that this car was the first one to get all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Now, there were other road cars that had it, such as the Jensen Interceptor, but this one popularized the use of all-wheel drive in road-going performance passenger cars. And in fact, going forward, Audi put it on just about everything, especially their performance cars. So to differentiate this Quattro from all the other Quattros, this is the ur-Quattro. So the Quattro was actually based on the Audi 80 Coupe, the B2 generation. It got the flared out wheel arches, a very 80s thing, and of course a front and rear independent suspension, as well as the all-wheel drive. Now, the World Rallying Championship changed the rules for cars at that time, allowing all-wheel drive, and Audi entered this car and pretty much dominated and won for the next 2 years, whilst rivals like Peugeot and Lancia, Toyota, Ford all caught up with their own all-wheel drive systems. Nonetheless, by 1985, Audi had clocked up 23 major rally wins. One of my favorite rally drivers, Michel Mouton, nearly won the WRC championship in 1982. Not the women's championship, but the actual full championship. She's the only woman to have got, she got to second, she's the only woman to have got that high. Personally, I still think she was robbed. Okay, I may have had a little bit of a crush on her. Anyway, this is not going to be a history lesson about the Audi Quattro. This car's exceptional achievements are on record in many different places. Just Google it. What this is about is me getting my second chance behind the wheel of an Audi Quattro. The first time was well over 10 years ago. This car is a 1990 car. It's a 20 valve, and it actually belongs to Audi, who have lent it to me today. They made 11,500 of these cars up to 1991. So this is a rare privilege. So let's drive it, let's review it, let's look at the practicality of it. This, for example, let me show you. The handle to open that, there's a little lever just in the door well here. That opens that. Then you can open it from here, and it's not a hatch. It's just a boot. Spacious though, about 2 suitcases, plus the wheel is in there as well. Well, that flips forward quite easily. Okay, it's a bit of a small opening to get in here. It's a bit of a small opening to get in, but actually, once you're in, it's not bad actually. These seats not only look spacious, but they actually are. There's a ashtray back here. Old cars, right? Don't smoke, bad for you. There's a pocket, that's quite good. There's some stuff in there somewhere. There's a pocket on each side, which is actually quite handy. A little tray type thing there, and lap belts as well back here. Headroom's a little bit tight. I mean, it's a little bit tight, but I could probably do a short journey back here. I'm 6'2". This seat is set for me, so actually not bad. But what's the front like? Okay, watch me get out from here. Ow! Oh, it might be better actually. Check it out, we are in the Audi ur-Quattro. You know, the car itself is famous for being a rally legend, of course, but it's also famous for a TV show, DCI Hunt. The character drove it in a show called Ashes to Ashes, and his famous catchphrase in that was, fire up the Quattro, and that's what we're going to do now. By the way, check out a blank instrument panel. What's going on here? Digital dials, look at that, Knight Rider is home. Oh, look at that. It's got a fuel range thing as well. It's even got a trip meter on this thing. Look, it's very sophisticated for its time. Now, just to touch on that fire up the Quattro phrase again, look it up. I'm not going to go into it because this is not a political broadcast. I know we're in election season at the moment here in the UK, but the car and that catchphrase was used in the 2010 political election. Google it. It's very funny. So anyway, so in this car, we have this pod-like thing here, buttons down here. There's an ABS off button there. That's for off-roading. And in fact, you've got a diff lock down here. So that's when you go rallying, plus voltmeter and oil temperature. We're not going rallying today, but we are going to drive it. It's very sophisticated. It's got the electric mirrors on this side, and they do work. Check it out. See that? And electric windows as well. Deep pocket, so very practical down there, and a pocket down there. Heating control, stereo, and 5-speed gearbox, tray, handbrake, all the rest of it. One thing I will say, look at that, check that out. Don't know if you can make that out, but the steering is offset to the left and the pedals are off to the right. One thing good about the pedals is they're very well positioned. So even in my boots, I can just about hit and throw in proper driving shoes. Easy, no problem at all. Very spacious, very comfortable. You know, even for my 6'2", the pillars are a little bit thicker than you would expect for an 80s car, but not claustrophobic, lots of light coming in, and very, very comfortable as well. The car, in fact, it was designed to be comfortable. That was a key thing about it. And the engineer that worked on the car, I think George Bezinger, his big dilemma was to how to take the four-wheel drive system and make it comfortable and refined for a road car rather than agricultural feeling, particularly at low speed. And he did that with some very clever solutions that he came up with at the time in order to figure that out. Now, to go through the spec, the car started off, they've given them codes now. So the first one was called the WR. It's a 2.1 litre inline 5-cylinder. They're all 5 cylinders, very silky smooth. That was a 10 valve with 210 pounds-foot of torque and 197 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 miles per hour, 7.1 seconds, and 137 miles per hour top speed. The next one was the 2.2. They coded it MB. Had the same power and torque, but the torque came in slightly earlier. And then in 1989, there was this one, the 20 valve, with 220 brake horsepower, 217 if you're being completely accurate, capable of 143 miles per hour. The rally car, by the way, had 302 brake horsepower. Talking of rally cars, there was a Sport Quattro that came out in 85 and 86, and that was based on the short wheelbase rally car. And of course, that was a beast. And it's got these pumped out panels, nostrils on the bonnet, bigger intercooler, bigger turbo. If you can find one of those, the road going versions, they're 150,000 pounds right up to 400,000 pounds for really good concourse cars with provenance on them. Regular cars you could probably pick up for between 15,000 pounds to 70,000 pounds. You're probably looking at spending 40-45 for a good one. This one has got a lived-in feel. It's got a used patina about it. You know, it's not pristine. It's not immaculate. It feels like a car that's been used and driven, which is great because then that's what I'm doing today with the car. And this one, as I said, belongs to Audi. So, you know, it's a great car all around, and I think the key thing about it was, does it still drive? I mean, the great traction that it had, the great handling that it had, you know, built Audi's reputation for fast, efficient, solid, but dependable cars with enjoyable handling. Does it still do that? Well, let's find that out. So here we go. Oh my God, the performance is fantastic. You know, they talk about turbo lag in these cars of the 80s, but sorry, I've just encountered an S-bend and it's just fantastic. The grip on this thing is just extraordinary. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really feeling the turbo lag, honestly. I mean, yeah, it's not like, you know, it's not straight away. You know, but so you have to wait till about, you know, 3 to 4, I think. It does like to rev. It's very refined. Not too noisy. Not too coarse. It all picks up incredible speed. It's absolutely incredible. Very sure-footed. The steering is very well weighted. At low speed it's quite light, not an issue, but it gives you a lot of confidence. I wouldn't say there's a lot of feedback coming through it, but enough. And you know, they talk about understeer in this car, and okay, initial turn-in understeer, but honestly not really, especially you know, if you're on a track or something. But for here it's absolutely fine. And a little bit of body roll, a little bit of pitch, but generally quite well composed, quite stable. This car is just so much fun. You know, very easy gear change, no problem at all. Like I said, you can heel and toe. Definitely the ratios are very precise. You know exactly what gear you're going to be in, even into 5th gear. I've had it on the motorway 5th gear, no problem. Actually cruises very well in it. You don't feel like you need another gear like you do in some cars. Very easy to change up and down, no problem at all. The brakes, yeah, you need to wait a bit, so you need to think about the braking. Like that's an old car thing. You do need to think about the braking and just work them a little bit until you get down to the biting point, and then they're fine. But really, it's this stuff what you're doing, and you can just put the power on through the corner. It's just incredible. You know, you don't feel like you're going to get anywhere near the limits of this car. Certainly not, you know, on this road with my skill set in these conditions. But you know, you can be doing that. The ride can be quite nuggety. It picks up a lot of stuff. You know, and even here, you know, you're feeling it. You're bouncing up and down. Like I said, it does roll and pitch a little bit, but generally, it's not as bad as you think. It's not jarring in any way. You know, so it's not off-putting. It's just, you know, it just bounces and it smothers everything out, but it does all right. And you know, so in terms of the car itself, yes, there's some rattles and squeaking, mostly from the seat actually, which has probably been used quite a bit. A few squeaks, a few rattles. Look at that, heel and toe, turn in. Oh, fantastic. But generally, it's pretty quiet, pretty refined. Everything works on this car, and you get the sense that, you know, despite the fact that you can feel that it's an old car, and you can feel a few rattles and squeaks, but at the same time, you feel that it's pretty solid, and you get the sense that it's going to stay solid and reliable and dependable. Oh man, this car is absolutely a gem. You know, they say about cars like this sometimes, or things, you know, 80s things, that they don't meet your heroes. But in this case, no, do meet your hero, because it is absolutely fantastic and well worth it. So there you go. There's our review of the Audi ur-Quattro. I've absolutely loved this. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed having this car all day. And frankly, I'm not done with it yet, so I'm going to enjoy it some more. Let us know what you think of the car review, me, anything else you'd like to talk about in the comments about below elsewhere, and hope to see you in the next one. Meantime, oh my God, this is a great road, and here we go. Wow! I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, it's just so satisfying and incredibly quick for what it is and for how old it is. Oh my God. Man, I need a Quattro in my life, and so do you. Bye!
So, you want something sleek and glamorous? And then check out the Jaguar E-Type featured in our launch issue, alongside many other features such as
buying guides, owner's tips, and even how to buy your own first classic car.
Go Classics is about the cars that you relate to, the cars that you've dreamed of, and the cars that you can own, run, and enjoy. At Go Classics, we'll tell you how.
Go Classics is the most exciting car magazine on the shelves today, and it's out now. And you can get one by heading over to goclassics.co.uk, where you can find some of our fantastic limited time subscription offers.
forget about the boring, the pompous, the self-important. If you want something new,
Go Classics!